I got this idea to, I wanted him to explain the Nash equilibrium and the bargaining theories to me. And I thought, well, maybe we should just videotape it. And I asked him if I could do that, and I got Todd Hollowell to come along and man a second camera. John was comfortable with Todd. And I found a really different Nash, much less guarded, really vibrant, really alive, interested. It was great. It was also encouraging, because the man I'd been meeting with was a little more withdrawn. And, here he's still kind of a little bit unusual and somewhat eccentric in the way he expresses himself, but so clear, so interested, so vital that I fully understood the miracle of his recovery after spending that time with him in his office.
I could use this as a guideline here. This is my basic thing. Right. You see, there's no drawing, there's a formula.
Right.
There's not a drawing in the thing. There are some tables here.
Right.
These are examples of solutions to equilibrium points of the game. And here's a table, these are examples. I have a bunch of examples. Here we managed to use all the Greek letters, but there were 24 quantities.
Did you have fun getting all the letters in?
Yeah, here's omega, yes. Somehow I liked that idea. Maybe that's why they gave me an honorary degree in Athens. This notation. The basic transformation, this is the existence of equilibrium points in the thesis paper, right? Sort of a polished version of it. So theorem 1, every finite game has an equilibrium point. This is a special type of, I'm not using Greek letters so much, but I'm using a sort of a German. Let S be an n-tuple of mixed strategies. This means these are n players in the game. Then PI of S is
payoff.
To player I. PI is the payoff to player I, resulting from this whole set of strategies.
Right.
Everyone is doing something, behaving in a certain way, we just find about probabilities of their strategies. So what happens? Well, each of them gets a payoff resulting from that. So if you start out, player I is playing a mixed strategy, all the players are playing mixed strategies, some probability of this, some probability of that, but that's fixed. Now, if he changes to this particular pure strategy, his alpha pure strategy, which is assuming that it's a strategy for this player and it's a certain number of ones, some subsystem of counting, then it might be that he will do better if he could change that way.
Right.
And but now this thing says that if he does worse, this thing will be simply 0. It's not going to take note of that except as 0. But if he does better, it's going to take note of that.
Now, let me just ask this: in defining this and shaping this, is this something that you would sort of instantly know, or is this something that you would have to actually work on and experiment with this facet of this step?
I worked on that because this is sort of some cooking, and this is to arrange that the proof goes smoothly.
Right.
But after you set it up, it is pretty simple. My last sentence here, since the space of n-tuples is a cell, it's a mathematical term for this convex, effectively a convex body. The Bauer fixed point theorem requires that T must have at least one fixed point, S, which must be an equilibrium. If nothing changes here, the thing is that if nothing changes, then these numbers are all 0. And if these numbers are all zero, these phis, then this thing is an equilibrium point.
Right.
Which means that no player has any pure strategy that he could use that would give him more of a payoff in relation to what the others are using.
Wow.
It's like a rubber sheet. If you had like a triangle, and continuously every point of the triangle moves to be another point of the triangle, somehow in motion, there will be some point that is fixed. A triangle would correspond to the, well, like strategies of one player. If he had three pure strategies, his mixed strategies would form a triangle.
Oh.
But if you have more players, then you have to combine these things together in the interaction. You could have a square, a rectangle if it corresponded to two players, and each of them had two strategies.
The other thing that was exciting to learn is that John is really engaged in ongoing research. Don't ask me to explain it, but it was fascinating to see what he was working on and to see how actively involved he is and how excited he is by it. So that was fun too.
I'm carrying his briefcase. This goes back even to the time when I could be considered mentally ill. I started using computer paper, but it was when I was coming out of it. I found out that they had this computer here, they had a certain type of paper, and they would discard some of it. So I could pick it up, and I used it as notepaper. This is very recent work. This page is all concerned with the relativity concept, which might or might not work out. I might delete to something. It wouldn't be very big, but it might be something, a fourth order equation.
What did you say on the fourth order?
A fourth order, yes.
What does that mean?
Well, it's like fourth derivatives. Actual, the equations of general relativity are second order in terms of derivatives. It involves second order derivatives in terms of something called the metric tensor on the space-time continuum. And the idea of fourth order equations is not new, but no one has found anything that really looks good.
I asked John at one point, I said, well, you know, more people are going to, in the general population, are going to know your name now than before. Are you going to go out on the public speaking circuit? You've got a remarkable story to tell. And people will pay you to do this. He said, well, maybe, but he said, you know, I lost a lot of years, and I really think of myself first and foremost as a researcher. And, you know, I think I'm going to stick to that. I've got a lot of work to do.